every metric, you rate right up there with those guys.
Um, truthfully, I try not to get too caught up, and obviously you see it. It's because everybody sends it to you. But I'm super happy for those guys. Well deserved. They all had really great seasons, and I try not to get too caught up in comparing myself or seeing where I stack up in terms of that sort of thing. But more so just trying to take advantage of opportunities when I am actually stacked up against them in a game. So I'm happy for those guys. Obviously, it's great to see that skill set being valued the way it is. But truthfully, a lot of that stuff, at least for now, is kind of outside my control. So just focus on what I can control, which is getting ready to gear up here.
All right, next we have Barry Jackson with the Miami Herald. Go ahead, Barry.
Hi, Duncan. Good to see you. Obviously, it was a short off season, but you're such a cerebral guy. Did you spend time just sitting alone thinking over the last 6 weeks of, okay, I've made this huge step. What other areas can I improve now to be an even better player?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly right after the season, when you're trying to let your body rest, your attention and focus goes to just developing a plan and just making sure that your development moving forward is very, very intentional towards, what it is you want to improve on. So, I definitely have some areas of focus in my mind. And, now it just comes down to just approaching it the right way every single day and being diligent with my habits.
Can you share a couple of those without giving away secrets?
My body, for sure. I always feel like, especially ramping up for this season, with the shortened off season, I really want to make sure that I'm in really, really great shape. That for sure, that'll obviously help me. I really feel both offensively and defensively, but definitely defensively. And now that the game is, slowed down a little bit in comparison to last year, just being a little bit more, just being harder to guard offensively. Not necessarily adding all sorts of moves or whatever to my offensive game, but just maybe two or three things just to be a little bit more effective where, I'm not just shooting threes all the time, but, maybe mixing up in the mid range and finishing a little bit.
Thanks.
All right, next we have Heat TV announcer Eric Reed.
Hey, Duncan. Welcome back. Good to see you. You obviously had a breakthrough season last year in the regular season, but the playoffs and going all the way to the finals and making as many threes as you did in the conference finals and the championship series. It's a two-part question. A, how did that help you and improve your game competing at that playoff level? And what did it do to motivate you as well coming out of it?
I'll start with the second part. And the motivation is at an all-time high. Particularly, I was really disappointed in how I played in those first two games in the finals. Not necessarily just because I didn't make shots, but I felt like I had kind of gotten away from who I was and wasn't as aggressive. And I started to get a little bit more comfortable as the series goes on, but would love to get those back. Obviously, that's not how the game works. So you got to shift your focus forward and work on getting back there. So motivation is at an all-time high, and really probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from the run is just having a better understanding of what it takes to win, particularly in the playoffs and particularly as you move on in the playoffs. So it's invaluable experience, and it would be really, really silly not to apply it right from the jump this year and just be really, really focused and intentional as a group. And
is this the kind of case where you are going to have to get better just to keep your numbers the same?
I always think there's areas for improvement, and self-improvement is obviously a huge focus of this organization, but also myself. So, and it might not always show through in terms of, I shoot a higher percentage or, like it might not necessarily always show up statistically, like just based off of that percentage. But, like you said, I'm obviously going to be keyed in probably more so, and teams are going to try to take away what it is I want to do. So a lot of the development will come in being more effective in getting to those spots that I'm able to be successful in. And then also, as the defense works to try to take those spots away, what am I doing to still be a threat on the floor? So, it's going to come in terms of development in a variety of ways. It's not just, one area for me, but more so, a couple of things that I really feel like I can be intentional and improve on. But with that being said, I always the percentages can go up too. That's just kind of how I am, I guess, as a person. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I'm not sure.
All right, next we have Shannon Irish with Heat TV.
Hi, Duncan. Thank you for your time today. I'm curious about what you think about Udonis Haslam's return to the team and really what that means for you guys, especially having him as a big part of leadership in the locker room.
It's huge. We're all super excited to have him back. You truly cannot measure what he brings to this organization and to that group last year. To have that veteran voice in the locker room and just give us always having a constant direction. And he's obviously lived it, firsthand, and to pass that experience on, whether it be in practice or in games or in a playoff series. He's always serious. He's always serving first, and he's always willing to help out when he needs to help out.
All right, next up we have Kritos Satas with SDNA Greece. Go ahead.
Hello, Duncan. First of all, how big boost you get from your last season with the Heat, and also how excited you are about the evolution, the development of your game, both of you and Tyler Hero.
I think particularly the younger guys, we really learned a lot from last year, and obviously a great experience and having the experience of moving on in the playoffs like that, but. I think the chip right now as a group is as big as ever, especially, just hearing whispers and murmurs of it was kind of a fluke and it was set up perfectly for us to be successful and this, that, and the third. So, we're super excited just to get back and be all together and just continue to develop. And in terms of, my development and Tyler's, he's constantly pushing me. I hope I do the same for him, and just to see the way he works day in and day out, and the chip that he has and how he approaches his development. He's poised to have a really big year. That shouldn't come to a surprise to anybody, and I'm just excited to play with him and be.
Duncan, the amount of attention you got from opposing defenses obviously increased as the season went on. Do you expect that to reach an even higher level this year? Has any Heat coach told you to anticipate that? Has another player in the league who you're friends with jokingly said, wait till how we defend you this year?
There's nothing super specific like that. I think just in talking with the staff and, figuring out how we're going to move forward and how I'm going to continue to develop, obviously, the what I want to do is kind of pretty much public knowledge right now in terms of offensively and how I want to score and the spots that I want to get to. So it's going to require me to be, more and more persistent, more diligent, and more creative. And I'm excited about embracing that opportunity and that challenge. It's a great group, and one thing I love is that people are always in my ear encouraging. So. I'm very, very thankful for that, and I'm just excited for this opportunity.